Ground Dispatch here on the SDH Network. I'm Madison Cruz. Join with me is Jason Longshore.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Training Ground Dispatch. We're going to get you ready for the big game this weekend. Enter Miami, come into town. It's Sunday Night Soccer. All the spectacle, all the storylines, everything coming on Sunday at the Benz.
It's going to be a ton of fun. You know, it's the best of three rematch. We saw this team. We knocked them out. The craziest, the biggest upset in MLS history. I mean, it's all going to happen on Sunday night at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And you know what? Atlanta United coming in, wanting to get their stride in again. Then you also have Inter Miami possibly coming in for some revenge.
Yeah, look, Miami's been great in 2025. This is going to be their 8th competitive game on Sunday night. It'll be Atlanta's 4th. So at some point that catches up to you. But Miami hasn't lost a competitive match this season. They've been very good defensively. And one of the kind of undercurrents of our conversations today with Brad Guzan, with Ronny Deila, I think Atlanta United gets better defensively by being so good offensively with the width, with Brooks Lennon back in the mix, with Pedro Amador in the mix. That's how Miami is so good defensively. It's not because they sit back and defend deep and it's what the defensive back line is doing. It's because they're so overwhelming attack-wise, they don't let you attack. Yep. I think if Atlanta can do some of that this year, we're not talking about individual defensive moves. We're talking about, wow, they're just killing teams by making them sit back and defend and not letting them get forward. That's how Atlanta's got to approach Sunday.
After Wednesday's training session, I had the opportunity to catch up with Pedro Amador and Brooks Lennon to talk a little bit about how important it is to switch the point of attack from one side to the other, especially going up against a team like Inter Miami where they leave so much space open. And here's what they had to say.
Sí, es muy importante porque cuando estamos del otro lado, cuando nos hacen eso, pero tenemos muchas dificultades porque tenemos que estar siempre corriendo de un lado para otro. Eso que tenemos que hacer cuando tenemos el balón, tenemos que cambiar rápido de lado porque podemos atacar del otro lado más rápido con menos jugadores y pienso que es muy importante eso.
Yeah, I think it's going to be important in this game. I think we try to switch the play quick. We try to get the ball to the other side faster. So we can, try and create that advantage on that side.
Yeah, it's so important. That's the way Ronny wants to play. Getting the ball from one side to the other as quickly as possible and switching the ball, through the middle of the pitch. And that's, what we work on all the time in training. And, it's starting to correlate into the games. We watched a lot of film this morning on the Red Bulls game and how many good actions we had in that game, with fullbacks overlapping, which I think is going to be great for me, and I'm just itching to get back and be able to put some dangerous crosses into the box and hopefully get some assists.
Now, Jason, you weren't at that training session, but you had the chance to hear what they had to say. What stuck out to you the most?
Yeah, look, it was a big talking point coming out of last Saturday. Ronny Deila talked about needing to continually switch the point of attack. If you go back through the span of time from the 14th minute to I think the 38th, where Atlanta had 6 or 7 opportunities. I think Opta scored them as 5 big chances, maybe a little excessive with a couple of those, but they were good chances that were created. You were overwhelming the Red Bulls. And the biggest reason why is Matt Edwards overlapping on the right. You were getting the ball forward and then hitting those overlaps. It was just very difficult to defend. It was overwhelming for the Red Bulls. They couldn't get forward. So you've got to do that consistently. Sometimes it's a natural inclination. If you create opportunities and you don't finish, okay, let's do something different to create a different opportunity. You need to fight against that. You need to, if it's working to keep creating the opportunities, keep kicking down that door and the ball is going to end up in the back of the net. Don't try something else that might not create as good of an opportunity. When what you're doing is working, keep doing it.
Now, on Friday's training session, Brad Guzan and head coach Ronny Deila spoke to the media. We talked a lot about many different things, so before we all lay it all out for you, here's what they had to say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think when you look at Brooks, obviously his work rate is tremendous, his ability to get up and down the pitch. First and foremost, he's obviously a defender and somebody that is willing and able to close the ball down and defend how he needs to defend. And then on top of that, he's got a really good right foot in terms of delivering crosses and being able to transition and help us transition from back to front. And so someone that offers qualities on both sides of the ball.
Talked a lot about that width and how it helps the attack. How does it help you in terms of distribution to have more width from the fullbacks?
Yeah, I think when you look at, I'm sure you guys have heard, the manager speak in terms of how we want to play and just different ideas he's trying to instill in us. When you have the width, it allows for more space to open in the middle. When you have the width, it allows for us to make their wingers defend, their attacking players track back and work on the defensive side of the ball and hopefully tire them out a little bit. But it creates space. And as a goalkeeper, when you have the ball and knowing that whether it's a ball in the air, whether it's a ball at his feet, he can deal with it and help us transition.
It's like empowerment is feeling responsible for things, and first you have to know exactly what's expected, and when you do that over time, then you start to interact, and you start to know exactly what everybody in every position is going to do. So I don't expect that everybody is going to be there already. So this is a constant development process that you as a leader, me as a leader, need to empower my players and my staff. So everybody is talking the same language, and when we do that, then it's about getting everybody to feel a part of it and be accountable in these things. So I see a lot of improvement from when I started, and I see also a lot of players that have that ability. So it's just to feel safe enough to get it out and to learn through every experience we do together. And we have had some good moments, and we have some tough moments, and that was also what we expected. I don't think last year was a year with only ups, so it was ups and downs there also, but we need to step by step get better and better.
Talking with both of them, really interesting stuff, especially looking ahead to the powerhouse that is Inter Miami on Sunday.
Yeah, look, I think what stands out to me is after they've gone back to kind of look at that game from last Saturday, emotionally afterwards, not happy, frustrated, we can come up with a lot of different words to use. It will break out the thesaurus when we're done. But what they came to after looking back at it, after you get to cool down and come away from the emotion, it was pretty good. You didn't get the goal, which is what you need to start getting, because then the whole game changes if you score in the first half in that sequence. You might get 2 goals out of it. If you get 1, I think you're going to get 2 or 3. I think that's where Atlanta United is right now. But defensively, very, very good. Very organized, as Brad Guzan said. And I think that structure of the way the team defends is starting to take hold. It struck me early on when we first met Ronny Deila to talk about development from a young player perspective. He's like, no, that's across the board. Everybody needs to be in a constant state of development. I feel like if you look at the way this team defends from day one, which would include how they defended last year, to now, so much better, so much more secure, so much more organized. It feels very safe. Okay, that's your foundation. Now, continually find these opportunities getting forward. Trust in the guys around you. Trust in getting forward. Yeah, you can go backwards for a step to get there. Don't freak out about back passes, people. Please stop freaking out about passing the ball backwards. You have to create space to get forward. It has to get forward. And it has to get forward with multiple bodies going forward with it. If it's just playing it over the top for one guy to chase, well, let's all go buy some lottery tickets. It's actually pretty good jackpot right now, so I'd like to win that. But it's about getting the ball forward and then getting the overlap and then getting the movement off of it. It's coming. I like where this team is from what we saw in Chattanooga to what we saw against Red Bulls. That's constant development. There's still room to grow. And let's come back to that topic in the summer.
And you talk about development. I mean, one of those players that I think really exemplifies that in the past couple of games is Matt Edwards. Yeah. Matt Edwards stepping up into the role as Brooks Lennon was out due to an injury has really taken it on. Every single game he has played, he's gotten better and better and better, especially on capitalizing that space, and hopefully going to use a lot more of it against Inter Miami, because it's going to be huge, because they're going to leave some open opportunities, and if you have a lot more space on the width, that's going to be huge, especially for Amador, especially for Matt, for Brooks, making those runs in on those sides to help create open opportunities, hopefully connecting to Saba and Miggy and possibly Latte Lath in the front.
Yeah, you talk about a young player developing. Matt Edwards in 2025 is that prime example because he got the opportunity, was a little timid getting forward in game one, had a very good game two defensively in the first half, kind of hit a wall, ran out of gas a little bit. He was better for longer in the third game against Red Bulls, and he was much better going forward because he had that internal confidence, and I think he got the trust of the guys around him, especially Miguel Almiron in front of him. You know, you're getting a Premier League winger to say, you know what, I can hold my position a little bit more here. I can bring the right back in. He's going to deliver a good ball. I don't have to go do it myself. That's the kind of elements that you want. Now you get Brooks Lennon back into the mix. You get Pedro Amador with 90 minutes under his belt. They should be even better. But when you need Matt Edwards now, he's in a much better place than he was at the beginning of preseason because of what he's done at this level and the work the coaches have put in.
One of the biggest things we noticed in today's training session in particular is that it was very lighthearted. There was a lot of fun. They played a couple of just fun warm-up games. We're having a lot of laughs, you know, a lot of great celebrations over here. It was a ton of fun. The energy and the momentum and how everyone is feeling is very, very high. And I think that's important, especially heading into a really, really important and crazy game against Inter Miami.
Yeah, don't write that stuff off. I think you look at like fun activities. It was competitive.
Very competitive.
It was fun, but yeah, they didn't want to finish last. They made sure that there was a last place finisher. Yeah. They had to do a little bit of a punishment that everybody had fun with, but it was very competitive. Even on days where you're going to go a little bit lighter in terms of the workload to be fresher on the match day, you still have to have that competitive element. That's what brings a group together. You know, that's why we love our fantasy football league, for example, because there's trash talking involved. It's competitive. That's what keeps you engaged with it. It's the same thing for these professional athletes. You're going to take a lighter day physically. That's good. You need it. Still got to have that competitive edge. We saw that today, even if it was fun with some ridiculous celebrations.
But hey, that competitive edge is going to be needed, especially going up against Inter Miami this Sunday at 7 p.m. at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's Sunday Night Soccer. Going to be a fun one. I think we talked a little bit about an MLS six-pack. This has the moment to be one of the games we're going to look at and say, yeah, that's what Sunday Night Soccer is going to be about. So make sure you guys tune in. That's going to be 7 p.m. on Apple TV, MLS Season Pass. You also can listen to it on 92.9 The Game. Pre-game coverage is going to start at 6 p.m. with myself and Abe Gordon. And we're going to have a special guest joining us as well in the pre-game. So keep an eye out. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. I won't tell you who it is yet. Well, you'll find out soon enough. Don't worry. But you'll get a special guest with both of us talking, getting ready for the match. And then at 7 p.m., Mike Connie and Jason Longshore will take over.